Have you ever felt embarrassed by something that looked old, simple, or poor? Sometimes we judge things by their appearance without knowing the story behind them. We may see an old shirt, an old house, or a worn pair of shoes and think they have little value. But behind every worn object, there may be years of sacrifice, struggle, and love. A wise monk once taught a young man that the things we are ashamed of may actually be the very things we should be grateful for. This is the story of a young man who learned to see the true value behind a pair of old shoes. A young man named Vann was embarrassed by his father's old shoes. They were faded, cracked, and covered with years of dust. Whenever his father came to his workplace, Vann tried to hide the shoes because he worried that his friends would judge his family. One morning, Vann saw his father preparing to leave for work. The old shoes were badly worn, but his father carefully cleaned them before putting them on. Vann asked, "Father, why don't you buy new shoes? Those ones are already too old." His father smiled and replied, "These shoes have served me for many years. They still carry me where I need to go." Vann did not understand the meaning behind his father's words. To him, they were simply old shoes. Later that day, Vann visited a monk and told him how embarrassed he felt about his father's appearance. The monk listened and asked, "Do you know how many roads those shoes have walked?" Vann shook his head. The monk continued, "Those shoes walked through rain, mud, heat, and cold so your father could earn money to support your family." Vann became quiet as the monk explained that his father had spent years working difficult jobs without complaining. The monk said, "You see old shoes. But I see the footsteps of a father who sacrificed his comfort for his family." Vann suddenly remembered all the mornings when his father left home before sunrise and returned exhausted after sunset. For the first time, he understood that the shoes were not something to be ashamed of. They were a symbol of his father's hard work and love. That evening, Vann returned home and gently held his father's worn hands. He looked at the old shoes differently. He realized that many of the opportunities he enjoyed had been built on sacrifices he had never noticed. From that day forward, Vann was no longer embarrassed by his father's old shoes. Instead, whenever he saw them, he remembered where his life had begun and the person who had helped carry him toward his future.